And we're back with more on NewsTalk Saga 960. So very glad you could join us to start your work week right here on the Mark Petroni Show. It is that time again when we take a look at the wonderful world of cryptocurrency, a world which, for a lot of people, is still rather mysterious and frankly a little bit scary. They're thinking of maybe dabbling in cryptocurrency, and then they see the price of Bitcoin. Not only is it high, I mean, at one point it reached something like $60,000 US, but then it took a bath recently, took a major hit. Well, what looked to me like a major hit. I mean, if you think of it as a stock, then it took a major hit, but it's not a stock, as Benjamin Dichter will no doubt remind me. And and that's why we bring him on the show, because cryptocurrencies are not stocks. They are currencies, and they are digital currencies, and they are subject to enormous movements up and down. And so we welcome Benjamin to the show. Welcome once again, sir.
Really? Am I that predictable?
You are on this front. No,
Yeah,
okay. So
perhaps.
look, I mean, we saw. Well, I think that if people recently got into cryptocurrencies and all of a sudden saw the price of these things fall,
Mm.
they're going to maybe wonder what the heck is going on. And so we've seen the prices being extremely volatile up and down, but lately it's been kind of an elevator ride down. And so it's where is it now? Is it fallen something in the neighborhood of 15 to 20%? I want to say in the last little while, maybe. Am I in the right range?
I don't know the exact percentage because, to be entirely honest, I ignored the price of Bitcoin for the past week. Today's the first day I'm looking at it, and I see it's
Aren't
down
you a
to
little bit
41,000.
interested though, Benjamin? I mean, you own cryptocurrency, you own Bitcoin. Don't you want to know whether it's going up or not?
Not day to day, and this is what I'm trying to rehash this point over and over again to train people out of the nonsense that legacy media has taught people. Like something that always infuriated me about traditional markets was, you'd look at what's the stock market today, what's it tomorrow, tomorrow it's up 1%, down 1%. Like we don't live our lives like that. It's just media hype training people to think that way, and I think that's the wrong mindset to have. That's why I keep rehashing it.
All
But
right.
it's
Well,
down to like 42,000 right now, which, okay, well, great. Time to buy, I guess. What do you want?
okay. So you're seeing it as a buying opportunity, maybe testing the market. I've seen some analysis that suggests that it'll probably crater to around between 38,000 and 40,000. There are some so-called investment whales that are looking at a price point around that level before they throw more money into it. Other people I'm reading online say, hey, I've already moved all my money to crypto. So there is no more. I mean, unless they get more money before they start buying a little bit more. But there is this story that came out recently that since the release of the ETF, the exchange traded fund that was linked to cryptocurrencies, there really hasn't been much in the way of gains for Bitcoin or any of the other cryptocurrencies. And so I guess the suggestion is that that has somehow served to keep the price down. I wouldn't know exactly why that's the case, but some people are saying that that would explain what's going on. Once these ETFs come out, that somehow it's being used as a vehicle to perhaps manipulate the price, to keep a lid on the price in order to prop up fiat currencies like the dollar, which have been under some pressure. So, what do you think is going on here, Benjamin?
I, I think lots of people say lots of things. What did Donald Trump say about fake news, right? I think what you're seeing is a lot of people who don't understand correlation does not imply causation, which is something that a lot of people say as well. There's various mindsets around ETF. Like when ETFs were first floated in 2015 or 16, I think it was. It's ETFs are going to cause it to boom, and then they kept all these applications went in, they were denied. This was the opportunity. Then we got an ETF, our first ETFs, and crypto went up in value. Oh, okay, or crypto, Bitcoins went up in value. This is going to be the boom. But now that Bitcoin is in a cycle where it's headed downward again, downwards volatility. Now, oh well, now the Bitcoin ETF is what's killing it. It's called snap to grid philosophy. People are looking to see what's going on, and they're going to correlate anything. I wouldn't believe any of it myself. And also, they're very non-specific. Oh, the Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, which Bitcoin ETF? Because there's a whole bunch of them. There's no spot Bitcoin ETF in the US. There's only a futures one right now because the spot one still has not been approved. So I think you're seeing a lot of narrative journalism coming from the legacy system to try to create what we call FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and to scare people out of the crypto market, while the traditional investment firms are buying as much as they can. And we can tell just by going on the Glassnode and look at where people are buying.
Well, our old friend Peter Schiff is rubbing his hands with glee, and we brought him up. Now, he's, for those who don't know, Peter Schiff manages a fund that invests heavily in gold. And he wrote a book about the crash that basically predicted, or some say predicted, the 2007, 2008 crash that we saw in the housing market, in the financial markets. And that was called the real crash. And though Peter has been predicting that Bitcoin will eventually go down to zero. And so he's been particularly, I would say, busy on Twitter lately, rubbing his hands with glee, saying, well, here it is. I told you this is the big crash. This is the one that I've been predicting for a long time. So all you investors in crypto, you should have got into gold, because here you are now. You're about to face the major apocalypse. Mind you, gold has not done particularly well over the last few weeks either, but he hasn't mentioned that. So what do you make of Peter?
I think that's his obnoxious shtick. I didn't see Peter when he made this prediction famously when it crossed over below 10,000. It was hovering around the 10,000 mark about 18 months, 2 years ago, if my memory serves. And he made a prediction. Bitcoin's never going to go above $10,000 ever again. It's going down to zero. And then it went up to $69,000. You know what? Not a peep. He got awfully quiet for a long period there. This is his shtick. This is why Peter is famous at this point. He's a smart guy. He knows markets better than I probably ever will. He's a brilliant guy. He knows nothing about Bitcoin, or if he does, he's just lying to people, because this is what gets him interviews. He's remember that Simpsons shtick, when Bart was the "I didn't do it" boy, and he became world famous for? That's Peter Schiff. Bitcoin's going to zero. That's him.
Yeah, there's also another meme that is kind of related to Simpsons, where old man screaming at Bitcoin, and it's got a picture of Peter Schiff, or somebody that looks a lot like Peter Schiff.
Yeah, and Peter, in that tweet that series of tweets that he put out, was it yesterday or the day before, that once again he's proclaiming for the 12th year in a row, by the way, Bitcoin's going to zero. The first response after that was his son saying, "I'm doubling down and buying as much as possible." So it's a shtick. They know what they're doing, It's fine. That's why I don't have any animosity towards Peter. I think it's a game. I think he's entertaining, and it is what it is. But I'm not exactly taking my Bitcoin advice for him, because he was one of the guys telling me, "Oh, don't buy Bitcoin. It's going down to zero," when it was at $2,000. And let's not forget, he also had the opportunity to buy it at $1 when Max Kaiser pushed. I think he gave Alex Jones 10,000 Bitcoin around that time. And at the same time, he was trying to get Peter to buy Bitcoin. And Peter has yet to realize how much money he's lost for his investors by not getting into Bitcoin.
Yeah, there's a story going around that Alex Jones has a laptop with 10,000 Bitcoin in it.
There's so many people who have that. Yeah, there's so many people.
I have no idea it's true. I don't think that is true. I mean, there's all sorts of stories going around about Alex. Have you noticed that Crypto.com has been buying a lot of advertising on CNBC lately? I
They always have. They have a fantastic marketing company. They've been very, very aggressive. They were the first ones to release a crypto Visa card a couple of years
Okay.
ago, where you get redeemed in your purchases, get redeemed a percentage back in cryptocurrency. So they've been very good in terms of really bringing awareness to the space for people who don't really know. Like I have a few friends that got into crypto, two friends specifically, last year, no, 2 years ago, had no idea I was involved or bought Bitcoin at all. And we were out for coffee one day and I see a crypto.com app on their phone. And they're like, oh, yeah, I bought Bitcoin. I've been using this. So that's really what got them into the market. They're very aggressive. That they have a stadium in, is it Miami or Los Angeles? That one of the stadiums is now the crypto.com center. So they're very aggressive. They're great.
Yeah, well, it is, and I just happen to notice that wow, they've been advertising a lot on CNBC. It's just constant the ads, and so I'm just wondering if it's starting to skew their reporting about Bitcoin. And in fact, I'm not the only one to suggest that somehow some of the uh, push that we've seen on CNBC recently has been maybe related to the fact that Crypto.com is a major advertiser on that station. So
Let
I
me guess. Peter Schiff said that.
he did not. Somebody else did.
Okay.
But let's talk also. This is some good news on the crypto front. Is that Dubai welcomes new crypto residence program for investors in Dubai and the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. And so here's some interest in the Gulf towards crypto. I don't know if you can buy oil. I don't know if you can buy oil from those guys in cryptocurrencies. Maybe that's the next move. Who knows?
Mhm.
Do you see that as maybe the next hotspot, Benjamin, in terms of people getting into crypto? Is in that area, not only in the Gulf, but maybe the oil producing countries?
I personally have had a number of people reach out to me from Dubai over the past year and a half, just generally asking about Bitcoin, crypto, just wanting to educate themselves for high net worth people that they work with that have expressed interest in Bitcoin. So yeah, I think any market that feels like they have been somewhat suppressed by the fiat dollar system that we have globally is gonna have interest in Bitcoin over the long term because it's the alternative. Now it doesn't mean they're going to abandon, like what some people fantasize, they'll abandon the US dollar and the fiat system. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that's going to be there's now going to be an alternative that people will go in and out of, and that is Bitcoin.
All right, let's listen a little bit to this clip by an individual who did a report on this. This is on a YouTube channel. It looks pretty reputable. Let's listen.
Hey, it's Rafael Cintron here, the wealthy expat. For you crypto investors or people interested in cryptocurrency that are looking to lower your taxes and create a company abroad, you want to move to Dubai or at least set up a base in Dubai in a zero tax country, but you don't want to do it with property investment. You don't want to go through another residence visa. You want to do the business visa. I have great news because Dubai and the UAE have just opened up cryptocurrency as a business activity. So you basically can come to Dubai, set up a free zone company, which is basically like a limited liability company. Here they call them free zone companies. And you can put cryptocurrency as your business activity. That was not allowed before. Before you had to come up with some random thing like consulting or marketing or stock trading or whatever. Now you can actually use cryptocurrency. It is a free zone called Dubai World Trade Center Authority. And that one is one of the best ones here in Dubai, actually. You can actually start it from abroad. So let's say that you're in Canada right now, you're in Australia, whatever country. If you're from the US, this takes some extra planning because of your citizenship. You pay taxes based on citizenship. But if you want to start a company from abroad, not even being here in Dubai, you can start the process with that free zone, with a lawyer here in Dubai, and then only come to Dubai once you're approved, once your documents are ready to do your biometrics and actually get your residence permit. But you can put cryptocurrency, whatever you're doing in crypto, whether it's making your own cryptocurrency, whether it's DeFi or just trading, holding, whatever it is, you can put that as a business activity.
All right, so it's a tax dodge, basically. I mean, is that? I mean,
what do you really think, Mark?
I mean, no, seriously, that's basically what it is. They're setting up this zone. Obviously, they want to attract business. I think Canada should do something like that, but yeah, you know what? They don't. And so here's Dubai doing it. Why not? I think it's a smart way to go. You want to attract investment to your country. Maybe Canada's given up on investment. Seems to be the case. They just want to destroy their country's economy. Dubai wants to grow their economy, and they're saying, hey, here's maybe a wave that we can get on. And so start attracting people, maybe started making it into a kind of a center for cryptocurrency activity. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I think so. And you're also seeing, I mean, it almost looks like they're trying to compete with Panama, because a lot of that goes on in Panama. And as we know, there is a bill in the House to regulate and legalize the crypto industry and Bitcoin in Panama as well. El Salvador, everybody points to because they've gotten the farthest of everywhere else, but Paraguay, Brazil, a number of these countries that have not had the luxury that we've had in North America, primarily in the United States, obviously, of having a world reserve currency. Like, we're very spoiled here because we have no idea what it's like to suffer through a currency collapse. Now, being in Canada, we may learn very quickly what that's like for the first time, given Prime Minister Blackface's lack of interest in fiscal policy. But this is going to be a trend all over the world, and we'll see it here last, just because we have the stability of being next to the largest economy in the world with a global reserve currency. But
oops, I cut you off there. My apologies.
No, that's okay.
Because I've got to throw to a quick break. You can stick around for another segment, though, correct?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
We're going to take a brief timeout, commercial break. Back with more on NewsTalk Saga 960 and the Mark Petronis Show after this. And we are back with more on NewsTalk Saga 960. So very glad you could join us to start your work week right here with us on the Mark Petronis Show. We have Benjamin Dichter, who's our go-to guy on all things cryptocurrency related. We're talking Bitcoin. We're talking about all the other ones whose names I forget. Ethereum, right? Ethereum is number 2, right?
There's so many. There's Ethereum. There's Polygon. There's VeChain. Like, you can go on for. There's thousands of them.
Dogecoin.
Well, Dogecoin is, well, don't buy Dogecoin. Whatever you do,
I don't want to say doggy style. One of these days it's going to slip out. It's Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, which was set up as a joke because its inflation rate is 1 million coin per day, and people are buying it, which just goes to show, irrespective of people learning about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, they still don't understand what inflation means. But that's mainly TikTok,
because this is one of the analysts that I heard talking about crypto.
Yeah,
said that maybe Bitcoin is not the place to be if you want growth, because of the fact that it's number 1 right now. It's around 40,000, between 40, 41, 42,000, right in there somewhere. It's taken a sizable hit. Maybe some people, as you've suggested, will be gravitating in towards Bitcoin now because maybe it's a buying opportunity. Others are saying, well, no, the real growth is going to be in other coins, in other cryptocurrencies, whether it's Ethereum or maybe some of the lesser known ones, that if you're looking for growth, maybe they should be looking elsewhere. Is this what you're what you're thinking, or stick with Bitcoin, which is still the best known of the bunch?
I think you stick with Bitcoin. And I find it really funny that a lot of these financial experts in the legacy media, out of one side of their mouths, they talk about how Bitcoin is so speculative and you can't trust it. And then they say, but you can go buy these alternative currencies and maybe make more money. For somebody in the space, it is so mind-numbing that somebody can be. That's like Prime Minister Blackface, who thinks he's Mr. Bojangles, calls everybody racist. Like it's so ironic. And the reason is this: Bitcoin and a few others, Monero, Dash, there's a few other coins. They are proof of work coins. Okay, many of these altcoins are what's called proof of stake, and I can't get into the technical because it'll take us a half hour to explain.
Good.
But
That's probably a good
essentially,
thing.
but essentially, proof of work coins like Bitcoin have to be mined by a CPU, and it takes a lot of energy to do so, right? There's a lot of computing power to do so. Proof of stake is essentially people who are owning coins, and it's not quite a liquidity pool, but imagine it's something like that. There's no mining involved in creating the coins. That's why we've gone from in 2017 when there was 10 coins, and today there's 8,000 different ones. Well, 7,900 of those coins are all Ethereum ERC20 tokens. They're derivatives of Ethereum because it's not Ethereum 2.0 is not proof of work. It's proof of stake. So anybody can come along and create a coin, and it doesn't require the whole infrastructure of computing power of mining to create the coins. That's the big difference between the Bitcoin proof of work coins, which is why they're the base layer or the layer one money in the crypto space.
And I got to ask you, to that point, GameStop rather, entering NFT, which are non-fungible tokens, right?
Yes.
And cryptocurrency markets. As part of its turnaround plan, the retailer is launching a division dedicated to the buzzy new technologies amid a push to turn a profit. And so GameStop had a major pop in its stock, and the fact that it's launching this division to develop a marketplace for non-fungible tokens has really boosted its prospects in the market. What do you think of that? I mean, are we going to see more of this sort of thing from companies that maybe are not doing too well, that are going to think, hey, here's something we could look at in order to boost profits and maybe boost our stock price?
Yes, I think with the case of GameStop, I'm worried that they are a little bit, ahead of themselves. A good, successful plan is something that's timed well, and I think it's still a little bit too early. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. At least they're trying something new. NFTs will be a huge shift in how the world operates for many different reasons. And I think they're also going to cause a major crash in the cryptocurrency space sometime in the future. When? I have no idea. Because there's too many people over leveraged playing around with NFTs. And much like we've had to shake people out of the speculative market in the trading market for Bitcoin and other crypto, same thing's going to happen in NFTs. However, the technology is amazing. The short version, without getting into too much detail, is an NFT is just a way of verifying whatever data you want on a blockchain permanently. So if imagine we went back in time,
Okay.
and Vincent van Gogh was creating one of his masterpieces. And we said to him, hey, Vincent, do us a favor. Just draw it on this little digital iPad for it, and we'll save it for you there. And we'll put it on an NFT. What would happen at that point? It gets verified on a blockchain. So in the art world, something that gives art a lot of value and has been disputed is this whole idea of provenance. Is the piece verifiable? Do we know Vincent van Gogh himself created the art, or was it his assistant? And a lot of resources are invested in verifying it. Well, now if we had that time machine and we went to Van Gogh and we had him put on a blockchain, it would have been verifiable from the very first day. There would be no question, because we would be able to follow that piece of work throughout its history. And as the artist, we could say to him, we're also going to build in a percentage commission to you every time that piece of art changes hands. And NFTs is not limited to just JPEGs and art. You can use NFT, like we're looking at a project right now to put documents on an NFT for a variety of different reasons. An NFT could be a place to put the title to your house. It's going to allow people to have shared ownership. So an art gallery like the Louvre decides we need to generate some revenue. You know what we'll do? Let's sell the Mona Lisa on an NFT program. We're going to divide it into 30 million shares, and each person who buys a portion of the NFT will be a part owner of the Mona Lisa. Or if you're going to go buy a Tesla in the future, your Tesla can be registered with insurance, financing, pre-approval, everything on an NFT. You go to the website, you execute an NFT, you use your crypto wallet, it verifies who you are, the number of assets you are, and boom, you have instant financing and your car is on its way being delivered to you.
Wow, that's really interesting. I mean, the fact that you can take something like the Mona Lisa and raise, I mean, it's like an IPO kind of, to me, I mean, initial public offering on a stock. So you've got a company, you're going public, you put it out there, you can buy a share of our company, buy our, getting our stock. I mean, is there something that is that comparable or not?
I mean, it's a comparable way of looking at it. It's not exactly correct, but it's the right frame of mind. It's like if you said to me, "Hey, listen, let's go buy a beach house in El Salvador." But you know what? I only want to throw in $5,000. Okay, well, let's get another 20 people. We'll all buy it. We'll put on an NFT, and we'll all own a portion of it. Kind of like digitizing timeshare without all the bullshit, pardon me, with all the nonsense of a timeshare and all the infrastructure. Everything is digitized. It's shared ownership.
Got to ask you about Mexico and what's going on there, because Mexico now preparing to launch its own, what's known as a CBDC, and that's within a couple of years. What's a CBDC? On December the 29th, Mexico revealed that the country would roll out a new central bank digital currency, and they'll be doing that by 2024. That, according to a tweet posted a couple of weeks back, I guess, or a week ago, by the Mexican government through its Twitter account.
Yeah.
So you're laughing, and I don't know why. What's funny about this?
I used to live in Mexico, and I almost married a Mexican. We dated for many years, so I know Mexican culture very well. Mm-hmm. My guess is this is kind of the test bed amongst all the international central banks. A deal was worked out behind the scenes to use Mexico as the launching pad to test it, which tells me they want it to fail, because there's no Mexican I know that will ever utilize a CBDC. You think Westerners are skeptical of their governments? Mexicans don't care. What they'll do is they'll issue a CBDC. People will get their initial wallet, their initial CBDC, and then they'll convert it into US dollars, and that's it. That's what's going to happen. And it'll go to zero, which is similar to what happened with the petro in Venezuela. These governments are going to learn that, unlike Bitcoin, this top-down approach to everything in the technology age, it ain't going to fly, especially in the decentralized world. I predict, and I don't like to predict things, but I predict this is going to fail massively and spectacularly.
Let's talk Joe Rogan and the possible crypto link to this. I'm not sure. Maybe you could explain that, but this is the story you wanted to go to, the fact that Joe Rogan moved over to Getter, the I guess right-leaning social media platform, leaving Twitter. A lot of people are leaving Twitter, and Joe brought with him 700,000 new Getter users, calling it a great awakening. What's the tie-in with crypto here?
Well, I think the tie-in is about freedom of speech and the fact that that's the whole purpose of what decentralization, right? Decentralization is a means for people to protect themselves and protect their free speech. What's interesting about it is, I mean, I joked with you once that on Getter you would be considered a lefty. But what's good about this is Joe Rogan, he's not right wing or left wing. He doesn't really subscribe to either side. He's kind of all over the map depending on the issue. And so are his listeners. And it just goes to show that regular average people who maybe just don't have a political leaning are just fed up with this censorship and they're looking for alternatives. And 700,000 new users to Getter in a span of 3 or 4 days is dramatic. I mean, Twitter, it took them what, a year to get to their first million users, and they just bled off 700,000 potentially in a few days. I mean, Twitter's been on a downward spiral for a couple of years. They've had enough of these controversies, and that's why it was very ironic for those of us in the crypto space. You know, Laura Loomer addressed this well, I think, effectively at the last Bitcoin Miami, when she trolled Jack Dorsey on stage, who was Mr. Bitcoin and free money and whatever, yet he banned her I don't know how many times on Twitter. So, I mean, I've told you before, I think he's a psychopath. But this just goes to show that regular people now are tired of being told what they can and cannot think, which is the whole zeitgeist of the community of Bitcoin and decentralization.
Excellent point. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Benjamin.
All right, brother.
Benjamin Dichter, NewsTalkCrypto.com. Thank you so much. We've got to wrap things up for the day. Appreciate you tuning in, and stay strong, stay safe, stay free, and we'll do this again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.